Hello everyone, Gary Delicium's here. Welcome to my vinyl collection video. This is part one, as promised. Now, if you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button. Not only do you support my channel, but you also get updates every time I upload a video, including this, complete vinyl collection series, which we're going to be doing part one, and it'll be a continuation coming in, throughout the week. Now, I roughly have, I would say roughly around 500 vinyl, last time I counted. And nothing, super spectacular or rare. It's just, stuff that I like, close to my heart. A lot of this stuff is original pressings that I found back in the 90s when I first started collecting vinyl. Some of the vinyl is in really good shape, but the cover might be a little beat up or something. But it's my original copy that I've had, and it plays. No skips, no problems. So I never really felt the need to replace it. So we're going to get right into it. We're going to start with the A's, just like we did with the CD collection. Everything is just in alphabetical order and chronological order. Nothing is broken down by genres. However, I do have these clear plastic sleeves on there, which I highly recommend. I do throw on Amazon. I think you get 100 for like 15 or 20 bucks or something, but they do protect the vinyl, especially this new stuff that you're buying. Definitely protects the covers. And if you have a giant collection, I understand, it's a lot to buy and a lot to put in there, but I'm sure if you're a vinyl geek like me or music collector nerd like me, you have no problem doing it. All right, so we're going to get it right into it, starting with the A, and these are the clear sleeves I was talking about. First one I got, this is AC/DC. If You Want Blood, You've Got It. 1978 pressing. And here we have the very first vinyl I ever owned. This is my dad's copy. I got this in, I believe, 97 or 98. I found it in the basement, and he gave it to me. Because obviously, in the late 90s, it was all about CDs, and no one wanted vinyl. Highway to Hell, my favorite AC/DC album. And one of my favorite albums of all time. Then we have Back in Black. And this album, I ranked it pretty high in my AC/DC ranking video collection, which is... if you search my videos, you'll be able to find it. Fly on the Wall gets a lot of hate. A lot of people don't like it, but I like it a lot. I really feel like it's heavy. I mean, the production's not that great, but I don't know. I kind of like the dirty production about it. Okay, next up, we're getting into Aerosmith. Here's their debut album. You see there it says featuring Dream On. My favorite Aerosmith album, Get Your Wings. Sorry, there's a little glare. It's because of these clear sleeves, but I'm not going to take every sleeve off, to show off. Next, we got Toys in the Attic, and, we got the poster over there. Amazing album. Rocks. You see, he's got a little ring wear because they are the original ones that I kept. Draw the Line. This is pretty good shape. Still pretty bright white for an original copy. Night in the Ruts. Done with Mirrors. And last one we have for Aerosmith, Permanent Vacation. This came out in the CD age. This came out in '87. So there's a little bit of wear on there, but the vinyl is in great, perfect condition. I think I found it for like $1. So, excuse me, I was excited when I found that. Next up, this is a 180-gram repress of Dirt by Alice in Chains. And we have, what in my opinion, probably the greatest live album of all time, the Allman Brothers Band at Fillmore East. Double live album. And sticking with the Allmans, we have Brothers and Sisters. This is the gatefold. Beginnings. This is basically their self-titled debut album and Idlewild South packaged together in a 2-record set, which came out after the death of Dwayne Allman and Barry Oakley. I don't own, as I would have showed it by now, but I don't own the self-titled debut or Idlewild South. But I would grab them if I saw it at a decent price. But this is also cool to have. And a really good shape also. Then we have Win, Lose, or Draw. Enlightened Rogues. And last one from the Allman Brothers, we have Reach for the Sky. Forgot to name it for a second. Not their most memorable album. Alright, now we're moving to the B's. As you can see, as I have with the CDs, I have these dividers that I bought. I went to Dollar Tree and found these rub-on adhesives letters. I'll move a little closer so you can see there's the B, obviously. But, you know, I have A through Z. For some strange reason, they come in a 25 pack as opposed to a 26 pack, which, you know, I wanted so you could, you know, most people are getting them to divide them by letters. But, you know, obviously there's not a lot of bands out there with X and nothing I really collect. Maybe the band X, but I put X and Y in one, and I don't think I have anything but X now. But you'll have to watch the videos to find out. All right, next up, Bachman Turner Overdrive. I think this is just called 2. Yeah, BTO2. Let It Ride's on here, Taking Care of Business, and I actually have 2 copies of that. Sometimes well, now I put everything in Discogs, but sometimes I'll forget to put something in Discogs when I'm out of the store, and I'm not sure if I have it, and I'll see a decent price, really cheap, and I'll grab it. Or I may have it already, and someone else will, you know, say, hey, I found this cheap for you at a flea market or something, so I got it for you. So that happens sometimes. And a lot of times, if I find something, like a record I really like, and I have it already, and it's really cheap, or it's just beat up, and it's still cheap, I'll buy it, and I'll frame it. I'll have to show. I have, you know, around my room here, I have different albums framed in those, you know, record frames, and they look pretty cool. All right, next up, we're still at BTO. This is Not Fragile, one of their best-selling albums. And then we're getting to Bad Company with their debut album, simply titled Bad Company. Great album. Burning Sky. As you can see, you got Paul Rodgers coming forward and the other band members, you know, kind of sticking back there. Almost Famous spoofed this with their the band Stillwater when they had drawing a blank right now. The guitarist, I can't even think of his name anyway. But anyway, the guitarist was coming forward and the rest of the band was sticking back. That was the whole controversy they had on the t-shirts. Russell, that was the guitarist. Desolation Angels, in my opinion, the last really great, or really good album, I should say, by Bad Company. They did a couple more of Paul Rodgers, and then, you know, they had a couple different singers and Paul Rodgers back again. But for me, that's the last really good album by Bad Company. Next up, music from Big Pink from 1968, the band. Don't quote me on this, but I'm pretty sure that is a portrait that was drawn by Bob Dylan. I could be 100% wrong, but I'm almost, I will put my money on it. Next up, this is the sophomore album by the band, even though it's self-titled. Amazing album. The Night They Drove Old Dixie Downs on this, The Great Divide. You know, Up on Cripple Creek. Such great songs on this. Even though they're from Canada, it's really cool, like Americana music, which, you know, Canada is still North America. All right, next up we have the Beach Boys. Beach Boys Today. As you can see, it's not in the best shape. The cover, final's still awesome though, but I kind of like it. I like the vintage look of it. Next up, we have Summer Days and Summer Nights, the Beach Boys. And then this is Wild Honey. I found the record in really good shape. I think it was like either free or probably $1, but it didn't have the cover, so I grabbed it anyway. And I had a couple of these extra, you know, just plain white. These are, you know, hard cardboard sleeves. And yeah, I held on to it, stuck it in there. Next up, we have Stack of Tracks. This is yeah, it's just the instrumentals. Kind of cool to have, but there's a booklet in there which has the lyrics, you know, as it says there. You sing the words and play with the original instrumental backgrounds to 15 other biggest hits. I've never seen this on CD, so I don't know if they re-released it on CD. Next we have Surf's Up. Always love the cover art on this, really amazing, and Feel Flows, one of my favorite songs by the Beach Boys. And next we have, you know what I'll do? These colored vinyl I'll show off. Sounds of Summer, very best of Beach Boys, excuse me, I said Beastie Boys. This is, I believe, like an orange swirl. Orange swirl there. It's kind of hard to see the swirl, but there you can see a little bit. You know, 2-disc set. I believe this is like a Target exclusive that I got it at. And yeah, I don't usually shop for music at stores like Target, but I saw this. I love the CD. I like the orange swirl, and I was like, I'm gonna grab it. All right, next up, we're getting the Beatles, and all this here are the Beatles. So I have all the American releases, and then I rebought the 180 gram represses of the, you know, English releases, which I couldn't find on vinyl here in the States. So first up is one of them, Please Please Me. with the Beatles. And now we're going to get into a couple of the original US pressings. Meet the Beatles. This was the debut LP that came here in America, where Please Please Me was the debut that came out in England. Here you have the Beatles' second album. And I have A Hard Day's Night. As you can see, there's a little mold on there, so I would probably replace this because I love the Beatles. This was obviously the American version of A Hard Day's Night. Then on 180 gram, I have the English version of A Hard Day's Night. This is the one that you find on CD. And then back to America again, Something New by the Beatles. These are pretty cool. These are, basically, these weren't released in England, so a lot of these tracks were later released on the Past Masters CDs. They were basically just stuff they released on 45 in England and the States, but the States decided to make LPs out of them, and there's a lot more from the 60s American version of the Beatles records as opposed to England, because they kind of just capitalized on it. And here's another one from England, The Beatles for Sale. Amazing album. This is a gatefold. And then here we have Beatles 65. This is pretty similar. This and the one I'll show in a couple minutes is pretty similar to Beatles for Sale. Next up is the early Beatles. This is basically Please Please Me, with a few tracks from I'm trying to see here. Please Please Me, some stuff from With the Beatles, and Love Me Do It, Twist and Shout. Well, Twist and Shout was on Please Please Me. P.S. I Love You's on here, A Taste of Honey, Do You Want to Know a Secret? Next up, Beatles 6. Again, this is a lot of tracks that were on Beatles for Sale, combined with the Beatles 65 LP. There's the picture of the band there on the back. And you can see the back catalog they put down there. They're just capitalized with Beatles. They were selling millions in the 60s. 180 gram repress of Help, the English version, and the original American version. I always preferred the English versions of Help and Hard Day's Night cover art and albums overall compared to the American versions. This is Rubber Soul. This is the English version, and this is the 180 repress, and this is the American version. As you can see, they look very, very similar. The only difference is the American version opens up with I Just Seen a Face, which was on the English version of Help. This opens with Drive My Car. This is the one you find on CD. This is the one that's, I think, more well-known, only because the CD's been around so long. And, if you go to digital streaming services, they put this version on as opposed to the American version. And I know there's something else on here. If I Needed Someone isn't on here. It's Only Love is on here, which is also on the English version of Help. Anyway, getting back into it. I don't have, well, I do have this. Amazing Album, Yesterday and Today. But I do not have the Butcher Baby covers, which is super rare. And I've never checked. As you can see, if you look close here, you can see it's kind of a sticker put on it. So basically, when the Butcher Baby cover came out, it was banned. But since so many records were already pressed, they sent them back to the record company and they put this new the sticker of this new cover over it. And some records, if you can actually peel this off, which is kind of hard, especially when it's been almost 60 years later, you'll see the original cover over it. And I never really actually looked, but I know if you look at Ringo around here, if you see it dark, you'll see someone's hair. I believe it was Ringo's hair. That's how you'll know you have it. But I'm not going to I love this record. It's a great American version, but I'm not going to peel it off to see what's under there. But I would love to have that Butcher Babies cover. It's one of my most sought after records, although I know it's going to cost me an arm and leg to get. All right, next up we have Revolver. I only have the American version. I do not have the English version, which was the last Beatles record to have different track listings between UK and USA. I know something's a little different off here. Can't remember off the top of my head. Sorry about that. So yeah, it's got 11 tracks on there. Or I believe the English version had. Let me just grab the CD because that's the English version here. Had 14 tracks. So okay, I'm only sleeping. I'm only sleeping isn't on here. And Your Bird Could Sing isn't on here. Dr. Robert isn't on here, but they are on Yesterday and Today. Yeah, Dr. Robert. Yes, I'm Only Sleeping, and Your Bird Could Sing. Yeah, that's what it was. I couldn't think. Okay, next up, of course, we have Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band, one of the greatest albums of all time. And I'm just looking now, and I didn't realize I had another copy. This is why. Some water damage, some the artwork was, but this was my original, and this replaced it. I know there are two different versions, as you can see the stereo up there, but I didn't really do my research before this to remember which was which was an earlier pressing and which wasn't. I'm sure someone in the comments can let me know, so I'll have to research it. Next up, Magical Mystery Tour. Don't believe I have the booklet though, which is kind of hard. I don't have the booklet. Kind of hard. I do have the original inner sleeve though. So kind of hard to find these used with the booklet, and if you do, they're going for quite some money. It's kind of funny the way the people are selling these used records now, because when I first started collecting stuff like the Beatles and the Stones and Zeppelin, they were all going for like $1 or $2, and now if you find like physical graffiti, like it's hard to find under 20-25 bucks, which is crazy. And you gotta watch where you go, because some of these like newer hipster stores, they're like, oh, it's the Beatles, let's automatically start it at 20 bucks. Not even, looking at the condition of the record. So just be careful that your older local stores will have better prices, and, they work with you and they know what's worth. They're not trying to rip anyone off. Next up, the Beatles, the White Album. Self-titled. This does have the poster in it. I know that. Then we have the Yellow Submarine soundtrack. Another one of the greatest albums of all time. Abbey Road. This is pretty crisp there. You can see how nice that sky looks, nice and blue there. This is Hey Jude. This is only released in America. I did say earlier that Revolver was the one that was the last one to have a different track listing, but however, this was just released in America, not released in England. Basically, this has a lot of stuff that were released as singles, like Revolution, Paperback Writer, Lady Madonna. Then it collects other stuff that was on the English version, like Can't Buy Me Love was on the English version of Hard Day's Night, but wasn't released on an LP until this. But, a lot of stuff they were doing at the time, like Don't Let Me Down, Ballad of John and Yoko, Old Brown Shoe was on here, along with Hey Jude, which, believe it or not, was released as a single, and it was, obviously huge. Then we had the Greatest Hits. This is the Red Album, 1962 to 1966. There's the back cover, front, back. Reason I'm showing you that is because when you get to the Blue Album, it's reversed. 1967 to 1970. There's the back cover of the Red Album, and then the front cover of the Red Album. So pretty cool there. For those of you who aren't familiar, kind of the same, picture, same scene, just the guys are a little older. And then I'm just gonna do just this one cube, so these videos aren't too long. I'm gonna keep it around 20 minutes a piece. So the last one we have here, still in B, Jeff Beck with his debut album, Truth. Amazing album. Always like the cover art there. That, kind of that psychedelic lady. It's kind of simple, but you got that small picture in there. It's really cool. Great album. Features Ron Stewart on vocals and Ron Wood on bass at the time. They both came from the Faces. Well, they would go on for the Faces. As we know, Ron Wood would go on to the Rolling Stones, replacing Mick Taylor in 1975. And then, obviously, Rod Stewart had this huge, legendary solo career. All right, so like I said, only doing the first cube. Next video, we're going to start the second cube, which continues with B's, goes to the D's. And then, then we'll go on. And there's 8 cubes total, so I'll probably be doing this in 8 different parts. And, so like I said, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, so you can get updates every time I post a video on this vinyl collection, because I know a lot of you may be curious, a lot of people might want to see, and I'm also curious. I love seeing people's collections, so if you do have a video out there and you're watching this, please drop the link in the comments. I'd like to watch your video and like to see your collection. All right, everybody, this is 4th of July weekend here in the States, so I'm going to go enjoy it. Everyone, please stay safe, and I'll catch you in the next video.